Once upon a time, in a quiet suburban neighborhood, there was a house with a kitchen that held a dark secret. It appeared to be an ordinary kitchen during the day, but as the sun set and darkness enveloped the surroundings, strange and eerie events would unfold. One stormy night, a young woman named Emily found herself alone in the house. Her parents were away on a trip, and she had decided to spend the evening catching up on some cooking. As she stepped into the kitchen, an unsettling chill ran down her spine, but she dismissed it as a mere product of her imagination. Emily began to chop vegetables, her knife rhythmically hitting the cutting board. Suddenly, she heard a faint whisper that sent shivers down her spine. "Help me," the voice pleaded. Startled, Emily looked around the kitchen, searching for the source of the sound. But there was no one else in the room.
Trying to convince herself it was just her imagination, Emily continued cooking. However, as she reached for a spice jar, it flew off the shelf and crashed onto the floor, its contents scattering across the room. She gasped in horror, her heart racing with fear. Ignoring her growing unease, Emily tried to regain control over her emotions. She cleaned up the mess and went back to her cooking. But as she mixed the ingredients, the utensils on the countertop began to move on their own, clattering and sliding with an eerie purpose. The room seemed alive, infused with a malevolent energy. Determined not to let fear get the best of her, Emily decided to finish cooking and leave the kitchen. However, as she turned to grab a pot from the stove, the flames beneath it flickered and rose higher, dancing ominously. The heat intensified, making her step back in terror. It was as if an invisible force was playing with the elements.
Emily's heart pounded in her chest, and she could no longer deny the supernatural presence in the kitchen. With trembling hands, she reached for her phone and dialed her neighbor's number, hoping for help. But as she held the phone to her ear, the walls began to shake violently, the cupboards rattling in protest. The lights flickered, casting eerie shadows that seemed to dance and twist.
Then, a long-haired, black-haired child with a featureless face appeared before Emily. The child said to her, "I have been hungry for years, and if you don't cook my favorite meal for me, I will devour you." Terrified and desperate, Emily fled the kitchen, leaving her cooking unfinished. As she reached the safety of the living room, the house fell silent once more. The kitchen seemed innocuous once again, as if nothing out of the ordinary had occurred. From that day forward, Emily never set foot in the kitchen after dark. The haunted memories of that night haunted her, and she warned everyone in the neighborhood to avoid the kitchen after sunset. The once cozy and inviting space became an ominous place, a reminder that sometimes even the most ordinary of places can hide dark secrets and untold horrors. And so, the kitchen remained a haunting reminder of the inexplicable and terrifying events that had unfolded within its walls.